Decoding the Disciplines by David Pace and colleagues from the University of Indiana, Bloomington, is a model of making disciplinary understanding explicit. It emerged from disciplinary history, and it focused on making explicit bottlenecks to learning. These are stuck places for students. In order to uncover these bottlenecks, David Pace and colleagues decoded expert thinking. Use this to model good practice. Use practice to scaffold student understanding. And then use this as a way of sharing emerging practice that helped to inform new understandings of bottlenecks to learning. The Decoding the Disciplines model emerges at the same time as Threshold Concepts by Myron Land. And in this model of threshold concepts, the metaphor of a door or portal is used to signify understanding. When we break through to new understanding, we are never the same person. We can never return to old understanding. And so, threshold concepts and decoding the disciplines are both models of transformative learning. Both models are useful in reframing disciplines as performances of understanding, because in the doing is the knowing. Central in this work is the role of tutors and demonstrators who become stewards of the discipline. The role of a steward is that of a guardian of disciplinary knowledge, but also as a guide. The role of tutors and demonstrators are to guide new and emerging scholars through the domain of disciplinary knowledge. I want to take a section of an interview, a conversation that I had with a tutor from the Department of History in University College Cork, in which we discussed what it means to demonstrate disciplinary understanding of history. And I use this as a way of showing convergences between the literature and the experience of teaching the discipline. History is a time-based discipline. In other words, the events of history within the past are contained and configured through and by time. Often students merely think of history as facts and dates. But in my conversation with Jenny, we teased out the implications of this, of showing that history is a narrative. It is a crafted narrative about the past. In our conversation, we discussed the type of evidence that is used by historians and how historians relate evidence of texts to that of archaeology and art in order to make certain statements and claims about the past. We also discussed how it was important to evaluate evidence and the differences between primary and secondary sources. The primary source being the source within history, the secondary source being historians' comments and commentaries on history. We also highlighted the need to make connections both within the discipline and across disciplines. Jenny was teaching a group of first-year students, and what emerged from our conversations was her awareness of her students conceptually moving in time from a naive view of history as merely facts and dates to one of a novice and apprentice in seeing the narrative of history as time-based and as constructed from the evidence that is time-based and the comments of other historians about the past. In conclusion, I think we can draw some broad ideas together that we could share in uncovering other disciplines. The first is emphasis on process. It's not just enough to think about the content knowledge. We also have to think about the ways in which we are communicating this content knowledge through the frame of our discipline. We need to model performances of disciplinary understanding for our students. And when we are setting tasks within small group work, or indeed even a large class, one of the questions we could ask is, how did you come to this understanding, which makes explicit the process? But by rewarding process, we are acknowledging that disciplines are performances of understanding, that in the doing is the knowing. Thank you.